we just left talking about really how caregivers, people that are hit by the catastrophic illness, death, whatever it may be, for autism moms, for those with Alzheimer's. I often think those are very similar experiences, just opposite ends of the age spectrum, you know, having depletes, yes. And Leeza, you have an afterword in the book honoring caregivers, family first responders. And I think what you say here, being a caregiver is not anyone's version of happily ever after, but it's a reality for more than 65 million people who never thought their lives would come to this. What can you say to the caregivers out there today to give them a sense of hope, some strength?
You know, I think that there is strength in knowing your limits. And I believe that's really hard for all of us because somewhere along the line, our brains got cross-wired into thinking that reaching a limit meant that we had failed.
Yeah.
And that if we don't have the answer, that we have to take the cape off and say, oh, honey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I let you down. And yet, you know, there's strength in our togetherness, and the striving and the connectedness, I think, is really where we lift each other. I mean, and you all know that. That's what you talk about so often here.
Yeah.
And I think that the vulnerability to me is just where I am in the moment. And what I see so often with our communities of caregivers, and most of them are caring for someone with Alzheimer's, but regardless, I think that that being able to exhale and say, some days I'm not enough. And realizing that, giving yourself that humanity that you give to everybody else is the self-care that allows you to remain buoyant and remain on the scene. I know you hear it till you're, you know, rolling your eyes with it, that you've got to take your oxygen first. I know it's kind of become that mantra.
That was your first book.
Right.
Take your oxygen first.
The thing that that I find that I talk about in Take Two is to find your sanity sanctuaries. And maybe that's a little easier for people to get next to, which are just little beats of respite. So maybe it's 5 minutes twice a day of little things like for me it's a bath. And I truly, when I travel, I don't book a hotel room unless there's a bath because I feel insane.
Right.
Life doesn't make sense for me without washing away. There's something symbolic. I have rituals that symbolize, okay, my life makes sense. It's this cup of coffee. It's little things that ritualize things make sense. Value those, honor them, don't apologize for them. That's your line in the sand. And I think that as a caregiver, we need to really go through and mark them, make sure that your circle of friends know what they are so that they can help save them for you, whatever it is, as silly as they may seem to anyone else. And I found that you know, we do a lot of drum circles at Leeza's Care Connection.
Yeah, let's talk, first of all, tell us about the foundation, because we really haven't touched on that. Your life was changed when your mom was diagnosed, your dear grandmother had Alzheimer's, and you had your spiritual awakening, nervous breakdown. And then,
I just got over busy, which is where I hide.
Right.
I hide in the work.
As I've always done too. And then you started something for the memory of your dear mother, Jean. Tell us about that.
Thank you, Nancy. You're so dear. Thank you. And it became, and now it belongs to these communities, Leeza's Care Connection and Leeza's Place. And we care for the caregiver. We encourage our guests to call on their courage and summon their strength. And it's a lot of, you know, art therapy and humor therapy and drum circles and Reiki and whatever they want to do that they find meaningful to fill them up so that they can then go back out there at it, right? And get back on the case.
Great, great.
Get back on the case.
And you created this, and how many Leeza's Places are there? And how many?
We have, at one point we had 10, now we only, I'll say only. We have 4, but we're focusing on our virtual communities and how we can reach people online. But we do these drum circles, and I mention that because we're all vibrational energy, right? I know that. Now, I've recently started chanting.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm with it. I'm down with it.
Down with that. If anybody chants.
Yeah, I have a mantra that was given to me.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, I just do Om. Okay?
Yeah, Om works.
But if you find that this, I'm mentioning it as a sanity sanctuary.
Yes.
Okay, so if you have 2 minutes, and here's why I say it.
Okay.
For something quick to bring down your heart rate,
okay.
For something to aid your digestion, to put you back in control, where you know, when you're at your wit's end and you think I'm going to pull my hair out or someone else's.
All right.
If you can do this, it has nothing to do with religious practice. It has everything to do with just regaining your physicality and your mental space.
Okay.
But if you can do it, I found a video from Tina Turner on YouTube. That's what got me into it.
She was in a meditation video.
Amazing.
And look at her.
Look at her.
It's helped.
Yes. Look at her.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting to is try new things that you haven't tried before,
okay,
to kind of get you through your craziness of your day that are quick, because I know you're time starved.
Yes.
So give yourself the gift of doing something different. Like if you don't feel like you can do a drum circle because it's just you, try just 2 minutes of just the Om. You know, and you resonate it deep, through your nostril and kind of get that nasally thing. It really does work. And 5 minutes twice a day of a walk. Despite the best science we have, they say that walking twice a day, 5 minutes, is the best stress reliever. Really? So I know you say, I don't have time, whatever. Please give yourself that gift.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be more resilient, and you can't rewrite your story if you are so stressed out of your mind that you can't even breathe.
And you're not open to the message until you slow down.
That's right.
Absolutely. I'm sure it was by slowing down and by being open, being a vessel that's open. And with you too, Shannon, you started to get these messages from the universe about where to go next, right?
Absolutely.
Where to go next.
Absolutely. Well, and this all ties into my next question. You talk a lot in the book about two very important words that we all underuse and overuse, yes and no. Talk to us a little bit about those two words and when and how to use them.
I think that the lesson we continue to get as women is the power of no. It's a complete sentence, and yet we lose respect for ourselves when we immediately begin to back it up with apologies and excuses. No, I can't, because then, and I hope you understand, and I'm really sorry, and I would, but I can't, blah, 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 blah. And then, we've cut every, prideful power behind that moment by excusing it so much. So in the book, I talk about yes standing for your empowerment system. And before you say yes, what do you need to feel empowered? You need to feel valued. You need to feel respected. You need to feel safe. You need to feel honored. What is it for you? What do you need to feel empowered? If the situation gives you that, then say yes and feel great about it. If it doesn't, say no, don't think another word about it, don't bat an eyelash, and move on.
Don't complain about it when you've taken it on, right?
Exactly right. Because that way, you'll be able to, because when you say no to something, chances are you're saying yes to yourself, to your family, to the things that matter more to you, and you don't have a lineup of commitments that strip away the things that are part of your empowerment system. So really look at, this is part of finding your story. What is your story? What empowers you? Until you know it, you will continue to say yes to the wrong things. And I have found it offers great clarity. And you can say no with love, and you can say yes with great gusto, and it will make all the difference in your life.
I have to say, I'm welling up, and I'm prone to that, but I mean it when I say that this book made a difference in my life this week, because I was looking at something and trying to decide whether I was going to say yes or no to it. And I sat down with my husband last night and I said, I'm going to say no to this because I'm looking at what's important to me. And can I tell you honestly how you gave me permission to do that? When you talked in the book about being in a place where you were doing something for your charity and you got a phone call from work that said, you need to come back right now. And the person, the good girl in me thought, I would have to get on a plane right away and go back to, and you made a decision in that moment and said, I'm gonna honor why I was here. I'm here with the best of intentions. I did everything I needed to do to be here and got permission to be here. And so I'm gonna say no and let the chips fall where they may. And they did.
And they did.
And you're still here. And
my hair didn't catch on fire. They didn't take my children away.
Right.
Look, nothing happened except what I really wanted to happen, which was I needed to move my life in a different direction, and that gave me the portal to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, every good girl, which we all are, that's it. That's the conversation.
It's so, you know, around the time that you had that sort of epiphany, it was shortly after the time that when I was working with you, doing your talk show at Paramount, and I was, my younger brother had passed away who had Down syndrome, and I was in Virginia, and only for a few days, you know, burying my brother, and I got a call saying I had to be back for a meeting. And it wasn't an option for me not to be back.
Yeah.
And while I did go back for it, it was a wake-up call for me that if that was the priority for the people I worked for, then they didn't understand. That was not the direction I wanted my life to be, right?
Right.
And we get the signs. Our inner voice, our intuition will often tell us, but we'll say yes anyway.
Yeah.
And spend some time with that intuition, I think is what you're saying, right, Leeza?
No, you're exactly right. And I so get that, Nancy, and I so recall all those moments for so many of us. And you know, our trains are all going to the same destination. Yeah. You know, they are. They really are. And we're all going to arrive right on time. So I think that we beat ourselves up a lot by kind of judging and blaming and shaming and evaluating when we get what we're calling kind of enlightenment or wisdom or whatever. Forget it. You know, you just get it when you can get it. And we arrive right on time.